Of them actually have very impressive applications, and I don't want to, hurt feelings or make one seem more favoritive to the other one, but I think it would be actually nice for the city to give Mr. Dotson a chance, since he's tried before at a time when actually there was 3 and he couldn't have the chance. So I would feel more, as for my opinion, I would feel Mr. Dotson deserves it, at least to start it, and if he doesn't perform like he should, then like you said, I mean, it's right there. You can pull a franchise anytime we want to. So that's just the way I'd feel. I would see giving a chance for some new blood and trying that out.
Mr. DeVito?
Well, that's all well and fine. I'm sure Mr. Dotson is a success, as he's listed his businesses in Fort Worth and Dallas and Fayetteville and other cities around, and seems to have been quite successful with his carriage service. I can only speak to Mr. Tharp as far as being a quality franchise, and I watch him go past my restaurant every night, and I see the expressions of the people's faces in his carriages. I can see from my back windows his carriages all lit up with the Christmas lights on them. As a business owner, I'm proud to have such a quality service in the community. It is a verified product that we have been well aware of all these years, and it is perfectly within our franchise agreements to accord 2 franchises to him. With all due respects to Mr. Dotson and his successful business that he has in a variety of cities, we know Mr. Tharp to be a proven commodity. As Mr. Brammer said, well, if there's a problem with Mr. Dotson, then we'll address that. We know there's not going to be a problem with Mr. Tharp. We've had him here for a number of years, and he has provided an admirable service to the community and has enhanced the experience in Eureka Springs. So, I could take the other tact and say, well, he's a resident in the community, and he made the point of that the monies will stay within the community, whereas Mr. Dotson's will go back to Fayetteville. So, do we have a responsibility as a commission to, try and grow the businesses that start in our community? There's a possibility to that to some extent. So, but basically the point that I'm trying to make is that there are no questions when it comes to Mr. Tharp. He's been a quality provider of a service that has been well received by our visitors. There's never been any complaints with his service. As a matter of fact, he's functioned as eyes and ears on the streets, and I think Morris is well aware of some of the speeders, things that happen out on the streets. He's out on the streets at night with his carriages. He's a responsible citizen in the community. He can call in speeders and people that are causing trouble out on the streets, and he's proven himself over the years in that capacity. So he's been an asset to the community, and to allow him to expand within our community, I think that's a good thing. I think growing the businesses of the people that live and reside within our community is something we have to be aware of. And all due respects to Mr. Dotson, I personally feel that, taking a business that took a chance on Eureka Springs, he started out as a small entrepreneur. He's grown by providing a quality service in the community, and I feel that's the kind of things that we try and engender in the community as growth of our own. So I feel providing this franchise to Mr. Tharp is the right thing to do.
Ms. Schneider?
Okay, since I did miss the first part, I assume both men have spoken?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mr. Dotson, did you have a place to home your horses and carriage here locally?
Yes, ma'am. I was in contact with Barbara today, where Mrs. Ada has.
Okay, but isn't that pretty much for hooking the horses up and driving the carriage?
Yes, we'll board our horses outside the city limits. Either I'll take them back home, or I'm in the process of trying to find at the horse boarding stables around here that I'll be paying them to board my horses
Okay.
for the weekend.
Don't know that we have any.
So I'll be spending money. Yes, we got two that's here.
Oh, okay.
And-
But if you have to haul them to and from Fayetteville every day, this isn't going to be a problem for you?
Well, I won't. I mean, I don't know how far Ada hauled.
25 miles.
Yeah. So, you know, that's. I mean, I got the trailers to do that, but our goal, and we will either lease a piece of property to board our horses on, or I'll buy a piece of property somewhere close to board the horses on.
So you'll haul them if necessary until you can make arrangements?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was talking to real estate people today about purchasing some land
Okay.
that's outside the city limits to put the horses on.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Sullivan?
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think that both of these are great, and I think everything you said about Mr. Tharp is correct, and he has been an asset to our community. That doesn't mean that Mr. Dotson won't be that same asset in 10 years if he's given the franchise. What concerns me as an accountant, you think, is there really going to be enough? Is there going to be enough carriages? Is there going to be enough animals? Is there going to be enough to really take care of that route and do the customers of Eureka Springs the best job? I mean, we're supposed to look out for what is the best for our city. One is going to be on a shoestring budget and doing it the best they can as money comes in. Maybe that's okay because, you know, what he gives in service makes up for that, but he won't be on every route every time now because it's expanding. Or is it better to have someone that has the carriages available, the horses available, has money to put in another horse if something happens? I mean, I don't know. Our job is to do what's best for the city, and those are the dilemmas that I have in me.
Ms. Seller?
We have 3 franchises. One of them is not going to be operating. Is that the way I understand? We have 3 franchises. Okay, so if Mr. Dotson is granted, then we will have 2 franchises, one with him and one with Thom Tharp, right? But if Thom Tharp is granted this other franchise, then we'll only have one person operating the carriage business in Eureka Springs. Is that the way this will work out?
You've got the possibility of 3 franchises. There's already one taken, and there's 2 people applying for another one. So you still have a third that's out there.
Okay, but it's not being applied for. So we have 2 routes open, and one person wants to do both the routes, and
this is
the other
all about
person
routes.
wants one of the routes.
Right.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Ms. Schneider?
Should this be something we maybe postpone, table, whatever, for the new council, since they will be taking office in less than a month and they're going to be dealing for the next several years?
Mr. DeVito?
Well, we have the experience as council to deal with this issue, and I think experience is a good thing.
I'm
We've-
wondering if this is one of those.
We've discussed this issue in some manner previously when it came before us a couple of months ago. You know, this is well within our authority as the outgoing council to address. It's not an ongoing issue. It's cut and dried. It can be decided here tonight. I really don't see why it should be deferred to the new council.
Okay.
I think we have the expertise and the experience to deal with it.
Mr. Berry?
Well, I don't know about the expertise, but you know, because I can see, you know, we have 2 excellent applications, I think, and they are 2 different types. For sure, Mr. Tharp is everything that Mr. DeVito talked about, and I see also Mr. Tharp coming by my office every night. But I also see, too, some exciting carriages from Mr. Dotson that he has to possibly bring to the city. And as Ms. Blankenship was talking about, has some expertise, not expertise necessarily over Mr. Tharp, but has the facilities, additional facilities and horses able to go in there. And my concern also is what is the best thing for the city? Which one's going to serve the people that are coming in and wanting carriage rides? That's part of one of the attractions we have in Eureka. We have a lot of weddings. People, I see them all the time going up in the street. When I talk about the expertise, I don't know which one's the best. I like Mr. Tharp's application because he is local. There's something going on. He's just right outside of town. He's right there. Everybody knows him. We have the track record. Mr. Dotson, on the other hand, has a track record, just not with Eureka Springs. But he has a track record with other cities and does a good job with it. So I can see that advantage of it too. It is a difficult deal, but as far as postponing it, I think all we're doing is postponing a dilemma that we don't want to make a decision, and we need to make a decision. I don't think it's fair to Mr. Dotson or Mr. Tharp, either one, not to make a decision tonight. I know Mr. Dotson came in several years ago, and we had some issues, like he mentioned, with the stagecoach. And it's unfortunate that we had